And I'm live. And I'm live. Okay, as the children come home. Of course I am. That's how it works. Thank you. I am not sponsored by anything you may see on the screen here.
I'm taking it, bud. Run away.
Tim? How much is there? Okay. So today we're going to talk about Cinco de Mayo. I hope people join us. Again, my stream is early because I'm changing my time, and I know it's kind of weird, so people are still getting used to the new time. I hope people join us. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Unfortunately, I might be eating as I am kind of off schedule today. It's my day off, and I'm slacking really hard. I gotta find a way to cover labels in that. Okay, so Cinco de Mayo. Everyone says it's the celebration of the Mexican independence. That is not true at all. Categorically, not a thing. Mexican independence is in September. So, the Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, is sometimes mistaken for Mexican independence. It's the most important holiday. The Mexican independence is the most important holiday in Mexico. And that's celebrated September 16th, commemorating the Cry of Dolores, which initiated the War of the Mexican Independence from Spain, but is actually a holiday that celebrates the date the Mexican army victory over France at the Battle of Puebla de Los Angeles. And yes, I have a really bad accent because I haven't spoke Spanish in years. So I apologize for that. And it's going to get worse as this goes on.
I didn't play last night, so I didn't get to the stars.
Me neither. Oh.
I forgot about it. I'm sorry.
That's totally okay. It was totally off topic.
You want to do anything?
Okay. So, this is during the Franco-American War, the French-Mexican War. The day, which falls Tuesday, May 5th, 2020, is also known as the Battle of Puebla. While it's a relatively minor holiday in Mexico, actually, I went to Mexico for a term, and it was really funny because we were all super excited to celebrate Cinco de Mayo in Mexico. And they were like, "What are we doing? Why would we do that? Why would we? What are you saying? What's the point?" They had no idea. We were like, in America, it's when we eat a lot of tacos and enchiladas and we get really drunk. And they were like, so it's Tuesday? And Ren, no, it's not the Day of the Dead. The Day of the Dead is Dia de los Muertos, and that is in October. So, Cinco de Mayo has evolved into a commemoration of Mexican culture and heritage, usually celebrated in areas with large Mexican American populations, like Miami, Los Angeles. It commemorates one single battle. In 1961, Benito Juarez, a lawyer and a member of the indigenous Zapotec tribe, was elected president of Mexico. At the time, the country was in financial ruin. They had years of internal strife. They had just come off of the American-Mexican War and their own civil war. So they were financially wiped. And so the president goes, hey, we're going to boost our own economy, so we're going to just stop paying our personal debts to the international world for 2 years. And of course, European governments went, I don't think so, we need our money. So England, France, and Spain came over to Mexico with large naval fleets and went, bitches, where's our money? And England and Spain went, oh, you're broke. You don't have anything to give us anyway. Let's make a deal. And France went, that's okay. We'll take half your country. And And the Mexicans went, no. Why would we make that deal? So the French decided to actually like attempt to take half their country. This was known as the Second French Intervention, which took place, like I said, 1861. This was after the Mexican-American War was from 1846 to 1848. And the Reform War, the War of Reform, the Reformation, was 1858 to 1861. And this battle, which started the French-Mexican War, was 1861. So that kind of tells you where things were. So the Reformation War pitted liberals who believed in separation of church and state against the conservatives who fought for the bond for the Catholic Church in the Mexican state because they believed that the Catholics should run Mexico. And these two wars basically bankrupted Mexican treasury. In response, the European government sent their naval forces to Veracruz, Mexico, where the president met with them and had a nice, summit. And the Spanish and British forces withdrew. They negotiated. They went, okay, cool. This is what we're going to do. However, France at the time was run by Napoleon III, and they were like, nope, that's not happening. So a well-armed fleet of French stormed Veracruz, landing a large force of troops and driving President Juarez and his government into retreat. The French had one of the best armies in the world at the time, and they arrived at the Puebla on May 4th. They were coming off a series of victories in Southeast Asia and Northern Africa, and they were loaded with firepower, including long-range rifles that put Mexican creaky muskets to shame. They were so overconfident, in fact, they didn't even bother to prepare their artillery. Paco, I'm streaming. I'm going to hurt him. Paco! Paco?
What?
I'm streaming. I can hear you, I can hear her. Her being a phone call. So, on the morning of May 5th, the French tried to intimidate the Mexicans with screaming bugle calls and advanced bayonet maneuvers. But after a full day of fighting, including 3 unsuccessful uphill charges, they were forced to retreat due to heavy casualties. Certain that successes would come swiftly, 6,000 troops under the General Charles Latrille de Lorenz set out to attack the Puebla de Los Angeles, a small town in eastern central Mexico. From his headquarters in the north, where he was forced to retreat to, President Juarez rounded up a ragtag force of 2,000 men, 2,000 loyal men. They were vastly outnumbered, poorly supplied, and they were led by Texas-born General Ignacio Zaragoza, who was a hero in Mexico. They fortified the town and prepared for the French assault. On May 5th, the French general gathered his army, supported by heavy artillery, and led the assault. Although not a major strategic win in the overall French war, were in 1867, when the United States got involved after our own Civil War, and France ran. In that same year, Austrian Archduke Ferdinand Maximilian, who had been installed as Emperor of Mexico by Napoleon in 1864, was captured and executed by Juarez forces. And Pueblo de Los Angeles was renamed for Zaragoza, who died of typhoid fever shortly after. So within Mexico, Cinco de Mayo is... Hi, Kate. Cinco de Mayo it's so minor. They celebrate it with a parade and some military maneuvers. And in the city of Zaragoza, it's huge. Like, hey, this is our town founding. But everywhere else, it's nothing. The stores are open, banks are open. It's not even a federal holiday anymore. So why do we celebrate it in the U.S.? That is the big question. Why do we decide that Cinco de Mayo is a big deal and we sell more beer and party snacks on Cinco de Mayo than we do for the Super Bowl, which I found stupid. Yes.
I mean, what the hell?
So it's actually more about what happened after the Alamo than it is about Cinco de Mayo and this war. So, Texas, Nevada, New Mexico, and California, Arizona tried really hard to become independent of both Mexico and the U.S. Mm-hmm. And they certainly didn't want to be under Mexico's rule when Santa Anna was president, because he was crazy and held a funeral for his leg because it had gangrene from a wound at the Alamo, and he figured his leg should be a hero. Yeah, no, he went crazy because he refused to have his leg amputated when the gangrene set in. So it made him crazy before the doctors were finally like, no, really, we're doing this. So we were like, let us have these states that don't want to be part of Mexico. We'll just take them. That's fine. That's actually what the Alamo was about. The whole Battle of the Alamo was about Texas going, we're not going to be part of Mexico, and Mexico going, no, you're American, you're a Mexican, deal with it. And during the war with France and later Spain, again, Mexico went, hey, we'll sell you these states. We need money. And so that the American Southwest needed the ability to acknowledge both parts of their heritage. So both the Mexican and the American heritage. And so in the 60s, 1960s, most of the Mexican population in America were like, we need a day that is ours that we can celebrate as a holiday to celebrate these traditions that are fading out because we are all adopting American culture. And so this is the day they chose to have parades and parties and mariachi music and Mexican folk dancing and traditional foods such as tacos and mole poblano, which I want so bad.
What?
Mole poblano. It's spicy pepper mole.
You can't have that.
I cannot. I cannot. I was talking about when I was in Mexico, my house mother, Mariposa, beautiful woman. We were talking about how this is like typical stuff. So she was like, "Oh, I'll make a special meal for Cinco de Mayo." And I came home from school that day, all excited. We were going to get special traditional Mexican food. I was so excited we were going to have mole. And I walked into the courtyard of our house, not even the house. And then I had to send Ryan in to get my inhaler because the food was so good that I could not breathe in the courtyard. I could actually smell it 2 doors up, but I was hoping it wasn't our house. Yeah, I had to go out to dinner that night while the rest of my housemates all had dinner with the family because I couldn't be in the room or at the dinner table. The peppers were so strong. But it was fantastic. Almost as good as the day she just tried to give us a traditional American home-cooked meal. So she made fried chicken and mashed potatoes, which was amazing. But they do not fry chicken the way we fry chicken. This was vastly different in the American Southwest than it is the American South. So it was a lot of fun. It was really, really good, though. The chicken was amazing. I will always say that my family is raised on southern fried comfort foods, but you have not lived until you've had fried chicken in the Mexican way. That is amazing. So why do we confuse this day with Mexican Independence Day? No one really knows. And when I was in Mexico, they were really confused. They were like, why we never declared independence from France. And the difference is that, much like our own independence, I'm sorry, I'm very thirsty. Much like our own independence, where we left England and came to America and founded a colony, Mexico invited Spain to colonize. Again, it was very much financial and help with wars on other fronts. But they were like, come on in and help us out. We will accept your ruling, as our own government failed us. So let's accept a ruling from someone else. And then they realized that being a colony of Spain was not what they wanted, and they were like, nope, get out. So that is Mexican independence, and that is unlike ours, where ours was, this is the day we won the war, and that's our Independence Day. Mexico thank you, Jay.
Sorry. I'm trying not to be.
Mexico claims their Independence Day the day they declared war, which I found amazing, because they were like, nope, this is the day. This is the day we decided to be independent. Screw you. And that, again, is called the Grito de Dolores, which refers to the city of Dolores Hidalgo in Mexico, where the call to arms that amounted to the declaration of war on the Spanish colonial government in 1810. So way before, like 50 years. So, and the Grito de Dolores, the Cry of Dolores, was fashioned, put out. The call to arms was written by Miguel Hidalgo, and Castillo. He was actually from San Miguel de Allende, which is cool. It's just where he drafted it. When we were in Mexico, when I was in Mexico for the term, we got to see, we went on this really cool tour, walking tour of San Miguel, and we got to see that the apartment he lived in, like he lived in a, what do you call this, loft, in a loft house above a shop, and he rented the apartment. Well, they let him rent the apartment because he was a priest. With that whole vow of poverty thing, they just kind of went here. But it had a secret room in it, and in the secret room, we got to go see it. It had just his writing desk, and you could see where he sat and wrote up the call to arms that he then took to Hidalgo, or he took to Dolores Hidalgo to start the war. It was really cool. So yeah, I know nobody has questions today because, I mean, this is not my typical talk. You know, there's no traditions or lessons or what have you. I was going to have a huge list of like, these are traditional foods for Cinco de Mayo, but there's just not. There's Tex-Mex, tacos, burritos, enchiladas, mole. But most of what we look for is the old traditional Mexican dances, which are just beautiful, from the indigenous people, piñatas, and traditional Tex-Mex food that you would find anywhere. I do encourage you, by all means, Taco Tuesday. Cinco de Mayo is a Tuesday this year. I might see if I can make that happen here.
We have taco shells.
We do have taco shells.
That would be really simple.
I need some ground meat. We have tortillas. We have refried beans. We have cheese. I just need meat. I can make that happen. So yeah, that is my big talk for the day. Really short this week and next week and last week. Let me do a thing really quick. I need to have this up like every time, and I never remember. I'm so sorry. That's not what I wanted to do. I want to do this. I don't want to do a new tab. Thank you. So on Wednesday morning, I'm going to try to sit down with my new computer, which, by the way, please tell me what you think of the video on Facebook. Go back, watch it, do whatever. I need to know how the camera works and how the microphone is working. I have a new laptop, and I need to know how it's running and how it looks and what this quality of my camera is, because I don't want to use two webcams there anymore. So that's the thing. So Wednesday morning, we're going to sit down on my new computer, and I'm going to transfer my sideseat.webs.com to sideseatblogger.com. So I spent some money, not a lot, but I spent some money on my own domain for 2 years. So you have to meet. We'll talk about that, Ren. I might be able to make that happen maybe late tomorrow night. But not opposed to that idea. All right, let me see here. Oh, goodness. So next week, I will actually be putting up several notices between now and next week. Next week's might go a little early, depending on how my research goes. Next week's topic is the Inquisition. I've done some research. I've got some dates. I've got some written up, and it looks like it's going to be a longer stream. So I'm going to post it all over Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube.
Sorry, I'm having fun.
It's okay. I'm glad.
If I laugh, she laughs.
Oh, nice.
And if I get shocked.
Sorry, we're watching Animal Crossing all of a sudden. So, next week will be the Inquisition. I'm going to put it everywhere. I'm hoping it will be a nice, actual, full discussion. I might start it at 4, just so I get everything done that I want to get done by 6, because that's my new time frame. So, let me know what you guys think, please. What time works good for you? Should I do it earlier in the day? It's Sunday. I can do noon. Just tell me what you guys think. Input is awesome. So yeah, Inquisition. The one after that would be Salem witch trials. So the next 2 weeks are going to be traumatic and overly truthful and long. So, but you guys wanted them, so that's what I'm doing. And then we'll probably go back to normal lessons after the month of May, because we're going to do Inquisition, the Salem witch trials, which will lead into how to contact those who have moved beyond the veil. And then we're going to talk about masks and how to build them and what they mean and why they're used. And I don't mean masks like doctor's masks, face masks. I don't mean that. Although I really have a cute one of Cinco de Mayo or Dia de Muerte.
Sugar skulls.
Sugar skulls. And I don't have anything in June, so I could probably do Crusades in June, Ren. But that's my schedule for May. The next couple of weeks is the Inquisition, Salem witch trials, contacting the dead, and masks. And then we'll see where I go from there. If you have something, let me know. But contacting the dead will be more of a lesson than it will a discussion. But still, I want a discussion. Like, subscribe, spread the word, push the buttons, hit the bells. Tell your friends. Pass the word. Bring people to my stream. Kate, tell your friends. Force them to come and watch me. Okay. For those of you who watch this later, tell your friends. Tell them to come and watch me. Ask me questions. I know you all have questions because I get them randomly. Hey, my friend said. Tell them to come watch me. Ask me myself. Like, subscribe. Boost the signal, because you can't stop the signal now. And I love you all, and I will see you next week. And I will let you know what time I'm thinking for. All right, goodbye. See, super, super early.